Thank you all for coming to our webinar. So my name is Sergiu. I'm part of the support team here on Nexudus. And with me, I have Barbara, one of my colleagues in support. And today we're going to be doing a webinar just on some questions that you have all sent us over recently. And so the point of this is to just go over some recent questions that we've gotten, how we can troubleshoot some of these issues, and basically just get to the bottom of them just to help you understand our platform a bit better and, just to keep things going. So again, my name's Sergiu. I'm part of the support team here on Nexudus. So is my co-host Barbara. And chances are, if you've ever sent in any support tickets, there is a good chance that we would have been in touch at some point or another. Now, before we begin, let's just get through some quick housekeeping. So first things first, this webinar is going to last between 20 and 30 minutes. You can feel free to ask any questions that you'd like through the Q&A function through Zoom. And then afterwards, we can go through some of the questions that you've asked. Please be aware that your mics are muted, so you will not be able to talk. But again, that's why we have the chat function up and running. And last but not least, if you'd like to take notes during this, please feel free to do so. But if not, don't worry. This is all going to be sent out within the next 24-ish hours to every attendee that is here and that's part of this webinar. So with that being said, I think we should be fairly good to start. The way that this is going to work is that we're just going to start off with some of the questions that you have all sent over. We're going to start off by going through the contracts. So just multiple questions surrounding the contracts, and that is going to be done by my coworker, Barbara. All you.
Hi, Sergi. Thank you so much. So yeah, a few questions that we receive about contracts. The first one is how to see all contracts and some filters. So in order to show you this, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the admin panel. There you go. So right now we are in the dashboard. So if you want to see all the current contracts from your space, you just need to go to the finance section and contracts. Here, by default, the system will always show you the active contracts that you have on your space. You can easily change this view and select to show all any current contracts, cancel, starting, or canceling contracts. You can also add some filters in order to help you search for any specific contract. As you can tell, you can search by plan name, customer name, and so on. Another questions that we receive about the contract is how to change the price of a contract and how to annually increase the price for existing customers. So this is something that you could do from this section if you know the contract that you're going to be making the changes for. But also, if you know the customer, you can easily go to operation, members and contacts, and search for that particular customer. I'm going to be using this one as an example. So when you go ahead and go to sales and under contracts, this will be the contract for this customer. In here, you just need to scroll down a little bit and go to the price section. So if you want to change the full price for this contract, there's something that you will need to consider. That is, in order for you to change it, you need to make sure that this log icon right here is unlocked. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make changes. And for the question in how to set an annual increase price for this contract, we recommend to use the price schedule section. So the price schedule section is an easy way for you to increase or even give discounts to contracts to customers. You just need to add different schedules. As you can tell, it goes one per month, and they are based, the price from the date are based on the billing date of the contract. So here you could easily change the price to, let's say, 500 and so on, and then save changes. Yeah, there's something really important here to mention is that the last price of the price schedule is going to be the new price for the contract moving forward. And that also, you can set this to up to 10 years, 10 in billing cycles. And I think we have one more question.
Yep. So the question would be, how would we be able to invoice certain customers for the month ahead of their contract? So in this particular example, how would we be able to issue an invoice on the 15th of a specific month and have the period of that contract and have that invoice be from the first until the end of the following month?
Great. So this is where the key dates takes over. Okay. So if we are setting a brand new contract, it's very important that the billing day and the next invoice dates are the same. So in your example, in this case, let's just set this one for the 15th of September. The billing day will be also the 15th of September, but I want the period to be from the 1st of October. So what this will do is that on the 15th of September, the system will raise an invoice that will cover all the month for October, basically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And also, everyone, don't remember if you have any additional questions, please feel free to just add them to the Q&A section and we can get to them afterwards. So I think continuing on, I think we can go on to some questions surrounding just customers and bookings in general. So the first question that we have here is, what is the difference between a suspension and a customer who does not have any online access? So first things first, if we head to the operations section of Nexudus, and then we click on members and contacts, we're then going to remove the filter to have it show every single customer that is in the space. Now, if we can see here, next to Joshua's account, under the status, we can see quite a few icons. Two of those are what is going to be important here. So the first one, as Barbara showed, is for the account is suspended. Now, what exactly does it mean when an account is suspended? So basically, it is a way for you to temporarily restrict the access and privileges that a certain customer has on the admin panel and more importantly on the members portal, right? So most notably, suspended customers are not considered active users within Nexudus. So this means that they will not be accounting towards your monthly subscription, right? So anyone who is suspended is basically you're not going to be charged for them. Next up, it's good to know that they're also, if they have a specific contract on their account, they will not be invoiced for any of their active contracts. And then last but not least, this is probably a most important part, is the fact that they will only be able to use the members portal in order to pay for any outstanding invoices. Now, please be aware that this does not restrict their access to the members portal. They will still be able to activate it and see it, although it will strongly limit and restrict their access to it. Now, if, for example, you have a situation where a customer has a due invoice on their account and they go ahead and pay for that invoice, what's going to happen is that the system is going to automatically unsuspend the customer and they will be able to resume whatever access they had and whatever privileges they had before they were suspended. Now, if you want to push this a bit further, we also have the option to restrict online access on specific customers. So that is the second icon, or I should say the third icon that we have in that row, that one over there, that says no portal access. So what this means is that customers will not be able to access the members portal whatsoever. Their account will essentially be unusable, and until they're re-granted online access, they will not be able to use their account or do anything like make purchases or place bookings. So if we click onto Joshua's account here, we can go directly to the More Actions menu in the bottom right hand, and then we have a couple of options. If we go all the way down to the bottom, first of all, we have grant online access. This is appearing here because this customer already does not have online access. So this would be the way of going about granting these customers access to the members portal one more time. And the same thing is the button right above where it says lift suspension. Currently, the customer is suspended. So if we ever want to unsuspend them, you can do so manually here. Now, when it comes to actually suspending customers, the most common way to do so is to just do so manually. Okay, you are an admin, you go into a customer's account, you click on More Actions, and you're going to suspend them. Now, there are a couple of automatic triggers within Nexudus that will also suspend customers. Most notably, if we head over to Inventory section, and then we click on Plans, and then we click on any of the plans that you have, and if we head over to the Limits tab, all the way at the bottom, there's one section. Well, technically there are two ways. Firstly, we have the toggle at the top, suspend newly signed up customers joining the plan. This is really useful if, for example, you want to vet a customer or have them send over specific documents before you grant them access to your space, right? But you also have the last option at the bottom, the unpaid account cancellation. What this does is that this allows you to set a due date, well, essentially a due date for when customers need to pay their invoices, and if their customers do not choose to pay for their invoices after this date, their account will be automatically suspended by the system. This also does not change if an admin goes and unsuspends the customer. So if they choose to do so, they'll just immediately get suspended back because they still have due invoices on their account. And this can be any due invoice for absolutely anything. It's not only to do with contracts. Awesome. Now, another question that we got surrounding customers is how to send a welcome email. So for those who do not know, a welcome email is one of the ways that we use to communicate with customers what they can do with their account. So when a customer first creates an account, they will be sent by default, unless specified otherwise, they'll be sent a welcome email with their login information and just some additional information that can be customized again by you afterwards. So if we click on members and contacts and we go to add a member or add customer, I should say, and then we're going to click on manual entry, we have the option, the second toggle that we see under account details is send a welcome email to each individual customer with their access details and grant them access to your portal. If this is not toggled on when you create an account for your customers, you'll need to manually send them a welcome email. And also, as you can see here, they don't have portal access, so you'll need to grant them portal access. Now, if we close out of here and we go to an existing customer, we can either click on the customer or on the three dots next to the customer. And if we head to the More Actions menu, the very first option is going to be Send a Welcome Email. And this will just send the email to customers. Now that that's done, let's have a look at some questions surrounding bookings, right? If we go to the Operations section, and then we have two different views. We have the calendar view and we have the list view. So first of all, let's just go into the calendar view. Why not? If you have a look all the way at the bottom, we have two different invoices. We can see one of them there has been confirmed and one of them is currently unpaid. So we're going to click on the one on the left that is confirmed. And you're going to see at the bottom, you have a toggle that is going to say, this booking is not yet confirmed / tentative. If a customer places a tentative booking, this toggle will be turned on. And essentially what this does is that this will quote unquote book out the time slot. So it will not allow somebody to book over this, but it will need admin approval in order for it actually to be confirmed and for the customer to be able to come in. So once you receive a notification that a customer has played a tentative booking, you'll need to go into the booking as an admin, remove this toggle, and then save changes, right? You might be asking yourself, why is this used? What's the good use case for this? The most common use case for this is mostly if you have a larger event space or an event like room that can host a lot of people. You want to make sure that you can send out, for example, a quote or just make sure that everyone is joining, has like credentials, whatever it may be. You can do this individually per resource. So if we close out of this and we go to the inventory section of Nexudus and then into the resources, we could then click on any of the existing resources and go to the limits. Here, under requests and cancellations, we'll be able to see the very, very last toggle is bookings for this resource must always be confirmed by an admin. This is the easiest way for you to enforce that bookings for a specific resource be tentative and therefore needs to be accepted by an admin. I hope that makes perfect sense. Next up, the second question that we have here is how can we manually change the price of a booking? I'm unable to do so. So the most often cause for this is because a booking would have already been charged. So if we go to the list view this time, we're going to see that we're going to have a booking that is not charged, but we're going to charge it manually. So if we click either on the two dots next to the meeting room or the three dots on the right, we have the option to just charge the booking. What this does is this will immediately set the price in stone for the customer and put it on their account, ready to be invoiced on their next billing date. So let's say the customer has a contract that renews on the first of the month. On the first of the month, this meeting room booking will also be invoiced on that contract. So for the £50. Now, what's good here is that this is not something that you need to do in bulk. This is not something that you need to do individually. You can also do this in bulk just by selecting everything, going to bulk actions, and then manually charging or uncharging bookings. Now, once a booking is not charged, so let's just go into the charge booking, and then we're going to uncharge it just so you can see how you would do this. You're going to click on more actions. You're going to remove the booking charges. We're going to go down to the price. And now we can see that we're now able to actually change the price. So we can change the price here to, let's say, for example, to 25. And then once this is done, it's going to be very simple. You just save changes once. You're going to click on more actions one more time. And then you're just going to charge the booking. And this is going to send the charge to the customer's account, ready to be invoiced on their next billing date. Awesome. So continuing on, Barbara, I have a question for you. How would you go about adding a new member of staff that needs to have access to the admin panel in Nexudus?
Great. So this is a question that we get a lot in support. The easiest way to do this is from the operation section. As you might be very aware, you will do a lot of stuff from this section. If you go to members and contacts and you add a customer, Nexus tend to recommend different templates when you're doing different process just to help you with that. And in this case, the easiest way to create an account for a new admin on your space will be by using the member of staff template. For this one, you just need their name and their email. You can select, you can enable this toggle, which will give them a full unrestricted admin access to the dashboard and all the sections within the admin panel. Or you can also assign a specific role to their account. This will be a role that you will need to create beforehand if you want a more personalized access for these admin, basically. Yeah.
And another question that we have is, if a customer has paid only for a room booking, so for a specific resource, how can I avoid them being charged a pay-as-you-go day pass?
So for that one, that's something that you can set within settings. So I'm just going to hit it over there. And under features, you have this check-in settings. Under pay-as-you-go, you're going to see this toggle right in the middle that right now is enabled. Basically, by enable this toggle, you, as it says, you exclude the time that the customer using bookings when calculating how long they were check-in. Just to give us an example, if a customer has a booking from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., but they show up to your space at 9 a.m. and started to wanting to use it just beforehand, before their meeting happened, by having this toggle enabled, it will only charge them for that hour that they were before the booking happened, since they already most likely pay for the booking.
Awesome. I can see that we've gotten a couple of live questions as well, so we can just go ahead and go through those. So the first one is, what is the difference between merged billing and individual billing? I'm going to assume that this is in reference specifically to Teams.
Yeah. So yeah, the difference between the both of them is just as you said, it's regarding Teams. In this case right now, so that's something important to mention. We are using a test account at the moment, so there is some information that we don't have right now in the space. But when you have a team created in your space, you can select a team paying customer, which is going to be the one, and by enabling the merge billings option, what it does is all the billing, all the different purchases that the customers that are part of that team do during the billing cycle, they will all fall under that team paying customer, which is, in other words, is just the person or the account responsible for all their billings, comparing to what an individual billing will be, which is just going to be individual customers.
Awesome. Great. Another question that we have is, how do you go about applying a discount? I've created a discount code, but I'm not sure how to apply it. So I think we can go ahead and just create a quick discount code and just apply it to a specific customer in this case.
Yeah.
So here, we're just going to go to the finance section. We're going to go to the discount codes, and under the discount details, we're just going to set our brand description. We're going to create the code. We're going to make sure that discount is active, and also we're going to set a discount amount. So let's just set this to 10% or £10 off, whatever you would like. Please be aware, though, that the system will immediately, if you have both of these enabled, the system will basically take whatever is cheaper for the customer. So whatever grants them the biggest discount is what will be used, right? Now, most importantly, if we go to discounted items here, we can actually select what this discount is going to be able to be applied for. So if we have this sets of plans, we can have the sets of products, bookings, we can have it be for all of them or only specific ones. So for example, if we set this to only all plans, but under products, we can have it be for only specific products or only for specific bookings. We can do so as well. So you have a good amount of granular control over the actual discounts and how they work. Now, next up, the availability dates. If you just click on there, you can see that it is valid from a specific date until another date. So in this case, it's from today up until forever. And you can also have it expire after a certain amount, and also you can have it be published between two specific dates. And then lastly, in the use limit section, you can just basically say who is able to use the discount. So whether it's contacts, whether it's members. So the difference between the two is a member is somebody with a contract, whereas a contact is somebody without a contract, right? And so for the overall use limit is just whether this discount can be used any number of times or it can expire after, let's say, 20 times. And then it's kind of the same thing for the per customer use limit, where it could either be a specific customer can use it an infinite amount of times or just a certain amount of times per customer, right? The easiest way to apply a discount code is if you go to the customers section here inside of the discount, you can then just click on add discount and you can select a customer to add it to. You can just select the discount in question. So let's say we're going to add this discount to Joshua. And then once that is done, this will be applied on their next invoice. Next up, I can see that we have a question on what is the best way to mark that you will be out of office for holidays so that you don't get tours scheduled, etc. Okay, the easiest way to do this is to use what we call booking availability exceptions. So if we close out of this and we go to the general settings, so on the left hand, the cogwheel icon, and then we go to the general settings, we have the opening times. And if we scroll to the bottom of the opening times, we're going to have the booking availability exceptions. These are dates where one or more resources are going to be unavailable to be booked. So if we click on add availability exception, we can then click, if we can select either all resources or a specific resource and then have that be unavailable between certain dates. And you can also have this be, you can show an error message for customers whenever they try and place a booking during these periods. And you can also have this be, for example, a Christmas exception. You can have this just apply every single year. Awesome. Next up, I think we have one last question here. If I create an event, can I set it up for an RSVP? How can I be sure the members see it? So if we click on the settings tab here and we go to website and we're going to click on homepage. Here, we're going to have the show events tile. What this is going to do, that this will show the member on the members portal, so on the homepage when your customers log in, both on the app and on the website, they'll be able to see immediately that there is an upcoming event. Please be aware that there is also another way to actually make announcements with Nexudus. This is a fairly recent feature. So if we click on the community tab and we go to the announcements, we have the option to just create announcements that will appear on the members portal and on the app for all of your customers to see. So we can add a title, you can also add an image and add text to this specific announcement. You have the option to show a button in the announcement as well that can either send customers to a specific URL or just have it be there or just not be there. And what's cool is that you can actually see a preview of this before it goes live. So right now, if Barbara was to click on show preview, nothing's going to really appear because we don't have this currently set up, but you will be able to actually have a glimpse of what it's going to look like for your customers before this goes live. And there's also ways, of course, at the bottom under audience to have this be only for contacts or only for members as well. And of course, there's also the published dates have it be either unpublished or published from a certain date until a certain date. This is really useful if, for example, you have construction going on in the building, any renovations, if there are any plant closures, anything along those lines, holiday hours, whatever you really want that your customers need to know, you can showcase it to them this way. Please bear in mind that if you are on an older version of the members portal, this might not always work because this is a relatively new feature. If you try this out and you see that this isn't working, please don't hesitate to just send us a message at support@nexudus.com and we can have a look and see what we can do to help out. So I think that just about covers it for the questions that we have today. If anyone has anything else, please don't hesitate to just let us know. If you have any other questions, just feel free to set us a ticket. Please get in touch, and we're always going to be happy to help out. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend ahead. Thanks.
Thank you.